Okay. It's Friday. It's 12 p.m. UTC. It's time for me to stream. So, there were a couple of things that I wanted to stream about this week. And the first one that I planned to stream on was actually something that Nick Hamza had shared. I hope I'm pronouncing your name there, Nick, your surname there correctly. Basically, Nick has been doing all kinds of fun stuff with AI lately. Hey, Cameron. And he built this thing called WP Pinch, which is a way to bring OpenClaw into a WordPress site. And I've been kind of looking at this OpenClaw thing, and I've been wanting to experiment with it purely from a this is interesting point of view. I've been reading up about the pros and the cons, some of the security concerns. I like the idea of an agent, sort of an agentic AI assistant that just runs somewhere. And so my plan was to fiddle with this on the stream today. So I started installing OpenClaw on a virtual machine, and I ran into a couple of hiccups. I don't have like a spare cell number that I can connect it to WhatsApp for. And getting a spare cell in South Africa, not so much the cell, but the SIM card is a pain. You got to get a rekit and all kinds of other things, and I just couldn't be bothered with that. So I ended up trying to connect it to Slack, and that took a bit of time, and so I ended up not setting up OpenClaw. So I might do that next week. But then during the course of this week, one of my colleagues at Automatic shared this internally. It's a WordPress Studio MCP server. And he actually shared a little demo where it essentially creates like a full site from scratch and then uploads it to WordPress.com hosting, which makes sense because Studio is a WordPress.com product. So I thought I would take a look at this today. I already have Studio installed. I'll just need to enable the CLI. I already have Claude installed and I know how to configure an MCP server. So I think this is going to be a lot easier for me to set up. So I won't end up wanting to bash my keyboard against the wall. Okay. So WordPress Studio MCP server connects WordPress Studio with AI tools via MCP. You can use Claude Desktop. You can use... Actually, I think I'll use VS Code instead. I was going to use Claude, but I think now that I think about it, I'll use VS Code. And then what I can do is once I've created the site, then I can open up the site in VS Code and have sort of a dual wheel system. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is have Studio installed, which I do. It's over here. And I need to enable the Studio command, which I think I might have done already, but I'll do it now anyway. If you missed there was actually a blog post about this. See if I can find it quickly. Yeah. End of last month, there was an updated Studio CLI blog post, which Nick posted before he left. Miss you, Nick. And basically, it's full featured command line completion for much of your Studio workflow, including creating and managing sites, running WP CLI, So everything runs from Studio. Personally, I still prefer WP CLI because it's just shorter. For WP CLI, I would just use WP, whereas in Studio, I have to use Studio, but that's fine. But it's just nice that Studio is kind of supporting all the WP CLI stuff out of the box. I think that's pretty cool. And also the WordPress.com stuff. So it's a good sort of combination of both. Okay, so let me go and enable the CLI. Enable Studio Command and Terminal. Yes. Okay, save. Okay, it's asking me for passwords. Okay, so that's the CLI installed. So now I should be able to just run Studio. And there you go. WordPress Studio CLI. See, so to run WP CLI commands, it would be Studio WP and then blah. If you already have WP CLI installed, which I do, it's just WP, and you can run WP commands. But it's a cool way to get people using Studio into WP CLI, so I'm not complaining. Okay, so that's step one. Studio version. That all works, lovely. Okay, then you need to open the MCP server and configure this. Now it looks like I need to clone this repository to do that. So let's do that. So I'm going to stick this in my development projects directory. Okay, so that's all there. So it'll be just index. So if we go cd, all right. Okay, so there's the index. So let's take a look at that. Just go and see what it's all about. Let's open a project, development, projects, server. Oh, this is going to be the compiled version. Okay, so he's written this in TypeScript. Vladimir is the developer's name. If you ever watched this, Vladimir, I hope I haven't messed up your name there. So let's see, there's auth tools, there's file system tools, preview tools, site tools, auth tools, a bunch of site tools. Okay. Ah, thanks, Vladimir, and how's it? I always get a little bit stressed when the person who wrote the thing I'm playing with is on the stream. Okay, site tools. Okay, what else was there? And WP CLI tools. Okay, cool. All right. So let's. Okay, I can stay here now because now I've got the README open. So we've got Studio, we've cloned the repo, then we just configure the server to the absolute path. Never remember these things, so I'll just keep that handy. Okay, so let's grab this. And I'm going to configure VS Code. Cool. And then what I usually do with VS Code is I usually configure it on a per project basis. I'm going to add this to the global MCP configuration, which for the life of me now I can't remember where that is. So let me just check. VS Code MCP. There's like a global config. Okay. vscode.mcp.json file. Okay. So let's open that. Why is my VS Code all the way there? I used to have it over here at one point. Must have got reinstalled or updated or something. Okay. Open. What is the code? Let me do this world. Hang on. Yeah. I can never remember the keyboard command to show hidden files on a Mac. Command Shift period. Shift. Okay. we go. Let's see if that works in VS Code. Yep, there we go. Okay. There, VS Code. MCP.json. Okay. So there isn't one there currently. All right, let's just quickly create that. So I usually configure my VS Code MCP on a per project basis, but I'm going to stick it in the global one just for now. And then for VS Code, I need to say servers. And then there's that and that and that. And then I'm going to need path. I could probably just use the tilde thing, but I like to have the whole path set up. Okay. There. So that should theoretically work. Okay, so let's check that. So with that in place, let's open up the chat window. Let's go for a new chat window. Why is this not working? Oh, those are old sessions. I don't want the sessions. Okay, about the sessions. Okay. Just for the sake of fun, I'm going to switch to using GPT codecs. Been playing with that lately. Let me check. Has it picked up MCP tools? Doesn't look like it. It's annoying. Oh, I might need to run the server. Hang on. Is that not working? It doesn't look like it's working in VS Code. Okay, let's try Claude. VS Code sometimes does weird things. Let's try Claude. Claude settings. Okay, delete. Let me just edit the config. Some random person posting nonsense. Okay, let's just see here. Okay, I don't need any of these anymore. I'm just going to add the studio one. I'm ever fiddling with my MCP configs on my different platforms and things. So let's get this to work. Okay, there we go. So that's for Claude. Let's close that. Claude still doesn't refresh when you change the config, which is the most annoying thing in the world. So you have to stop, and start Claude again, like it's Windows 95. It's so frustrating. Okay, let's check if that worked. There's the server, so that seems to be working. Okay, let's just check the Claude settings. Yeah, cool. That seems to be working. Okay, awesome. So we can list sites, I say list site start, site stop, site create, site delete, site set. We can do file things, we can do preview things, or things, and run any studio commands. Okay, so theoretically, and I seem to recall from Vladimir's demo, he like created a whole site from scratch. So I want to kind of try and replicate that. So let's do that in Claude. So let's go back here. Let's go new chat. No, what am I doing? New chat. There we go. Oh, go away. Okay. I'm gonna use Sonnet free. Okay. List all my studio sites. Let's see what that does. Where's allow? Sorry, I was busy blocking and reporting the chat message. Okay, you have 6 WordPress Studio sites. AI experiments, plugin scanner, WordPress. Let's check that. Yeah, AI experiments, plugin scanner, WordPress. Offline sites, block bindings, WordPress demo. Wonder what the difference is between online and offline sites. Have I synced AI experiments somewhere? I don't think I have. Oh, it's running. Oh, I get it now. Okay, so it's sites that are running. Oh, the AI experiments looks like it's broken, but that's fine. I wonder if we can get. Anyway, offline sites, which is no. Okay, so create a new studio site or a custom build. Now, Vladimir created a site. I want to see if I can do it without looking at his demo. For a customer who owns a flower shop. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to see what happens if I do that. Let's see what this can do. Okay, yeah, we can be happy with that. Okay, so now we should see a site. Yeah, there's a site. So there's our flower shop site. Okay, the site has been created. It's now ready to use. You can log in, start customizing, adding theme, checking status or configuring specific settings. Okay. So let's try install WooCommerce and find and install a suitable theme for a flower shop. Okay, so let's do that. One thing I don't like about Claude Desktop, but I do like about Claude Code, is you can click on the running process and actually see what's happening, or at least I think you can. I'm pretty sure I was able to when I was doing this earlier today. Whereas Claude, you're just stuck with this pulsating icon. You have no idea what's going on in the background. Okay, I can click there and I can see what tools are being... Okay, so it's installed WooCommerce. Now it's searching for a flower shop theme. Okay. 100% rating, flower shop light, I like it. I just realized that Vladimir was doing flowers as well, so I must have remembered watching the demo and flowers into my brain. Because I promise you this wasn't planned. That's funny. Okay, so let's go and see what the link looks like. Okay, so there's our flower shop. It doesn't look great. I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure in his demo, I did like an actual. So yeah, he did it. So he did a whole prompt. So you're the best WordPress developer and designer. You create sites for the customer person. No client must create a flower shop. We sell flowers, fresh boutiques. Create a complete, beautiful website for me. Homepage, shop with products and PC. He's given it a whole big prompt. So that's maybe better. The other thing he's doing as well, he's using Opus because he probably has a paid plan. That's fine. Just this is I don't have a domain yet, but I need a temporary one. Maybe you have a way to provide that. So obviously there's a tool to create like a temporary site on WordPress.com. Okay, so we need to give it a better prompt if we want to see something a little bit more functional. So let's think about that. Let's think about that. So what I'm going to do now. So this is very much this prompt is very much from a user's point of view. So the user doesn't necessarily have VS Code installed. They just want to be able to create a site in Studio, push it up somewhere, boom, off you go. What I want to do is I want to look at this from a developer point of view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to delete the flower shop for now. I'll show you why in a second. That delete. Yeah. I'm going to add a new site because this is how I would approach this. I would create the site myself. I know you should get the agent to do it, but I would do it myself. And let's say not a flower shop. Let's say, what do I like? Coffee shop. Okay, so we'll call it John's Coffee Shop. Okay. And I want a custom domain. There we go. Now that I probably could do through the CLI. I just like doing it through the GUI. Okay, so it's starting up the site. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that site in VS Code. There we go. Now what I would want to do as a developer is I would want to create a new theme for my customer. So I'm going to use a similar prompt, but tweak it slightly differently. Okay. So let's close all of this down. Okay, so we've got the site there. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my VS Code MCP. It's VS Code. Yeah. There's my servers. There's my server site. I don't know why the global one didn't work. Weird. Okay, so let's start that. Running 18 tools. Cool. Okay. So this is how I would approach this as a developer. So let's close the MCP JSON. You are an expert WordPress developer. Let's say designer developer. And now the one thing I'm going to do differently to Vladimir is you create custom block theme templates. I want to kind of throw out a little bit of a curveball. And theme developer creating custom block. Help me create a new custom block theme for my client. Okay. My client owns a small coffee shop selling coffee beans and coffee making accessories online. Because to be honest, if I wasn't a developer, that's what I would love to do. I would love to own a coffee shop and then sell coffee stuff online. Okay. Okay, we need to give it a name. So I'm going to move this over to the side here so that I can read and type at the same time. Wait. There. Okay. The coffee shop is called John's Coffee Shop. Okay, I've said about coffee making beans and accessories. Let's say the physical shop is at 123 Bean Street, Seattle. Open every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's say Cape Town, because I live in Cape Town. Why not? Actually, I'm going to do. I'm going to go Cape Town, and I'm going to go. There's actually a street in Cape Town called Bree Street. So I'm going to put that down. Okay. Create a complete and modern block theme populated with content. Create a home page, shop with products, about page, and populate it all with content. Okay, I'm going to just leave it like that. That's a decently lengthy prompt. Let's see what Copilot and GPT 5.1 can do with that. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because Vladimir was using Opus, which can probably generate images. I don't know whether GPT can. Not sure it can. So that might be difficult. So we'll see what it does there. It should be able to handle the content, the block theme. I don't know what it's going to do though. So part of the success of this might be based on the actual models that end up getting used. But let's see what happens from a block theme development point of view. Okay, so now let's just say allow tools from Studio. Always allow tools from Studio. I don't care. If it breaks my computer, then I'll reboot or something. I have two machines. I have my laptop for streaming and video creation and when I travel, and I have my workstation where I do most of my actual work. So if my laptop gets fried, I'm okay. Okay, so it's planning, creating pages. I like it. Ooh, minimal setup and custom shop content without WooCommerce. Interesting. Wonder what it's going to do there. Now, this is obviously the part about live streaming and agent thinking that gets boring, because now you're just sitting staring at this thing. So let's see if it's doing anything yet. No, it hasn't created any theme stuff yet. Still thinking. Still seems to be thinking. Now I don't know if this is Copilot having an issue. Oh, here we go. Okay, something's happening. Something's happening. Okay, there's John's coffee shop. So it looks like it's creating some things. Okay, so it's created the theme. So we can at least start digging around into the theme now. So let's go and have a look at the theme. So the theme has theme.json. Oh, I love that. It's named the colors after coffee related stuff. That's cool. There's the style. Got some templates. Okay, so it looks like the theme has been created. So there's a front page template, index template, page shop, page HTML. Got some template parts as a footer and a header. Completed the custom block theme, activated and set up the home, shop, and about pages with populated layouts and content. Okay, let's go check it out. So let's go to Adobe Admin just so I can log in. And then let's check out the site. Okay, so here we have our theme. It's very block based. It looks very similar to maybe the block based theme, I would say. So it could do with a bit of tweaking here and there. We've got some products. Okay, but so it's using. It looks like what is it using? It's using like emoji icons almost. It is. That's what it's using. It's using like emoji icons. Interesting. Okay. There's an About Us page. Started as a tiny Bree Street bar in 2016, apparently. So let's put some content in. I mean, if you've never developed a block theme, this is a pretty good start. I will say that. So let's go and have a look at the theme itself in the dashboard. Now, what I like about this, and this is something that I still need to figure out. What I like about this is I can now go in. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask, while I'm doing this, I'm going to ask this thing, close the header, install the create block install, and activate the create block plugin. So we'll let that do its thing. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to have a look at the theme. So if we have a look at templates, front page, so it looks like the templates contain all the content. Not the end of the world, I'll be honest. Depending on how you want to build your sites, you might want to build it this way. You might want to build your content in your templates. That means if I go to the actual pages, go to the home page, it'll just be a blank home page. Now, this is one of those things that is more, in my opinion, a WordPress problem. Because now that we're moving towards this template, the structure where you can edit templates in the editor, how you build your sites, you might want to have your template contain the content that you then update. You might want to move certain parts into the page and then pull the page content into the template. This is something that I think WordPress as a project is still kind of figuring out. I like the idea of it all sitting in the templates, because then you can just go and you can edit the templates. And if I want to edit the front page, I edit the front page and then it changes. But then it gets confusing because then when I go to pages and I go to the home page, there's nothing in the home page. So as a user, that makes confusing. But that's more of a WordPress problem, I think. I still haven't figured out how we fix that. I wonder what would happen if I told the agent to move all the template content into the pages. I wonder if it would handle that. And then update the templates with the content block. Because what is it doing currently? Currently it's moving. I wonder if it could handle that. Okay, so that's been added. So let's see. Let me try this. Okay. Move the content of the templates into the associated pages and update the templates to use the post content block instead. Now what I would like to do is make sure I've got a rollback. So let's go studio, John's Coffee Shop, WP content, themes, John's Coffee Shop. I could get the agent to do this. Okay. Okay. Move the content of the templates into the associated pages and update the templates to use the post content block instead, so that the page content is injected into the templates. Let's see if I can handle that. So I will say this, Vladimir, if you're still around, well done. I think this works really well. I would love to play with it more, give it better prompting, see if I could maybe even install some agent skills, like WordPress block development agent skills. I definitely think this is a step towards like true agentic WordPress development. So as somebody who likes to build plugins and likes to build themes, I love the ability to be able to just talk to my studio instance or my local environment from my code editor. Like one of the things that I often will end up doing when I'm building a plugin, whether I'm vibe coding it or agentically coding it or whatever the case is I'll forget to install and activate it. So just being able to do that step through the MCP server, like it's a simple thing, but I can see how that's going to improve my life. You know, being able to generate plugins, being able to, I love the idea. Something else that I do a lot is I spin up a new site to be able to test something out. And so being able to spin up a site from my agentic agent, spin up a new site, install this plugin from GitHub that I'm busy working on, you know, give it a theme, give it a whatever, spin it up and get it going while I'm doing something else. I think that's really cool. So I'm really liking this. I think this is really awesome. I think that what this kind of stuff is going to do is going to make me think harder about my prompt engineering and when I prompt the studio instance, because a lot of the stuff that I was doing manually, like setting up the Git repository, setting up the site, I could do that through the studio instance, through the studio MCP. I need to figure out why my VS Code global MCP wasn't working. That's a little bit frustrating. but it's not the end of the world. I mean, what I could do is like just have um, a so I'm just reading here. Migration plugin. Interesting. I think this is just the agent doing its thing. I don't blame this on Studio MCP. What is the agent doing? Creating? Is this here? I think this thing thinks I want it to use. It'll be interesting to see what this what this does. But yeah, I am liking this kind of automation between my development environment and my local development installation, my local WordPress installation. And obviously the AI determines the quality of the content. So if I was using a better model, I'd probably get a different outcome in terms of the theme design. So I'm very keen to try this out with my paid Claude Code, or at least my API key there. So yeah, this is very, very cool. I like it. So if you use Studio and you want to check this out, I'm going to share the GitHub URL in the chat, and I'll share it in the description when I upload this to YouTube as well. So if you use Studio and you want to play with it, I recommend checking that out. I think this is really cool. The only thing that I would say, Vladimir, and you don't have to do this, I might attempt it myself, but the fact that I have to clone the repository, it would be cool to be able to use that whole npx situation like you can with the WordPress MCP server, where it's a npm package that I can just run without having to clone the code. Maybe you have that planned already, so if you do, I apologize. But it would be cool to be able to do that, then I don't have to clone the repository. But that's a small thing, really. It's not a requirement. I don't recommend you do it anytime soon if you weren't planning on doing it. Anyway, it works, so all good. I want to go see what the bot's up to now. Okay, so it's creating new templates. Oh, so it's actually running a migration process using some PHP stuff. I wonder why it couldn't do that using the MCP server. Vladimir says, yeah, I'm thinking about something like that. I'm also planning to include CLI into the MCP. Ooh, when CLI becomes independent NPM package, to have literally zero setup. That would be cool. So when you say CLI becomes an independent package, do you mean Studio CLI or your MCP server CLI? Oh, interesting. Okay, so you would basically install Studio CLI as a package, and then MCP would just come with it, and it all just works. That'd be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome. I look forward to that. Cool. That's exciting. Nice. Can you see the excitement on my face? Okay, so it looks like the bot is finished here. So let's go and have a look at what we have. No, not that one. So let's go back here. Let's go back to the site. Okay, so let's go back to the dashboard. Just see if it left the plugin anywhere. It doesn't look like it. It created an MU plugin. Okay, so that's still there. This is kind of cool. Is I created the code and then I can keep the code, and if I ever need it again, that's pretty sweet. So let's have a look at the pages. Oh, no, that's not what oh, that's posts. Wrong one. Pages, chop. Let's go to home page. Okay, there we go. So it's done exactly what I asked it to do. That's well done, agent bot thing, along with Studio CLI and MCP. I like it. So if I go back to the coffee shop, looks like it's lost some of the images, but that's not the end of the world. That's pretty cool. For a brand new person, that's not bad. As I say, I do think that the design is limited by the bot that I'm using. I wonder if I use something like Opus, whether it would create a better theme. I just wanted to try out GPT. That's really cool. I wonder. Here's some fun. Let's do this. So let's create a new window, and let's switch to Opus. Let's go 4.6, which is better. 4.5, 4.6. Let me have a look. Benchmarks, live bench. So at the moment, 4.6 seems to be the best. Okay, let's switch to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to Opus. And I'm going to close this. And I'm going to say, you are an expert WordPress theme designer / developer. Help me make the John's Coffee theme more modern and exciting. Include bold colors, fonts, and layouts. Let's see what that does. Let me see what that does. Now, obviously, if I did things like creating Copilot instructions or an agent's MD or whatever, I could be able to give the agent more context. So this might take quicker. But for the purpose of the live stream, I just want to give it that prompt and just see what it does. Probably should have committed the changes. Anyway, let me see if I can quickly do it. Probably could have told the agent to do this for me, but anyway. Okay, I managed to do it in time. Okay, so let's see what it's doing. Simple color palette, system fonts, basic templates, simple header, minimal style. So it's going to completely overhaul theme.json. It's going to add some interesting things to the style. It's going to redesign the front page of the hero section, full width background, bold heading, Cool. So let's see what that ends up with. Now, I will preface this by saying, I am not a designer. I'm a guy who writes code for a living, or used to. I'm not great at determining like what is a good-looking website. For proof of that, Exhibit A, my own personal blog, is as boring as anything, because this is just where I write my stuff, so I don't care about what it looks like. And it's just simple and straightforward. So I don't have like design skills or knowledge about design or whatever. But this is the kind of tool that I would use if I was building a site for friends or family. I would probably not use this for customers unless they weren't expecting like specific design stuff. But maybe if somebody came to me and they said they needed a simple website for a business, I might be able to use something like this. But I don't have the confidence to say this is a good design or whatever the case is. So I'm interested to see what the AI will generate. let's see what happens. What's my usage at? Where do there was a thing in VS Code where I could see what my usage is, but I can't remember now where that is. Oh, it's here. There we go. Oh, I've only used 11%. I have a Copilot Pro account. It's on the open source maintainers license, so I try and use that as much as I can for these streams, which is why I'm in VS Code, in case you're wondering. Okay, so it's doing a whole bunch of things. Okay, so now it starts creating files. Now, ironically, this is the kind of thing you could do while you are making a cup of coffee. I do feel like this is where things are heading. I do feel like we're heading towards a world where you'll use an agent to create like a first version of something, and then you will manually come along and tweak it and style it and fix it and change it and customize it. It kind of reminds me from my past life. Those of you who don't know, I got into WordPress kind of because of the Divi theme. And the Divi theme had these layouts that you could just pull down, these layout packs that you could just pull down into your site and then edit it from there. And it's kind of like that's what we're moving towards, where the layout that you start with, if you're not like the best designer in the world, which I'm not, you will be able to generate using AI. Kind of, you'll instead of going through the learning pack, you'll give it a prompt, and it'll give you like a version 0.0.1. And then from there, you will either, with the agent, with the support of the agent, or on your own, you'll come in and make the tweaks and the changes and those kind of things. So it does mean that, for example, if I was still working as a freelance developer, I could get the agent to start on the version 1 while I am responding to emails or creating a quote or whatever the case may be. I have actually blogged about what I think the future of development looks like, or web development looks like, on my blog. And I actually talk about the fact that, where is it? Did I not post this? Here we go, January. I talk about the fact that I'll open up my chat client and it'll pull down the newest issues from whatever version control I'm using. I'll then use it to help me check any merge requests. So it'll automate a lot of the boring manual stuff. And this is kind of a glimpse into that. I don't know why I still have Claude open. But it certainly is boring in a live stream because you have to sit and watch the bot do its thing. So let's see what it's getting up to. Okay, so it's created all of that. It's edited the header and footer. Now it's doing the front page. Now the other thing that I wanted to do is, I know that in his demo, Vladimir did a thing where he said I wanted a preview URL, which is essentially one of the things that Studio supports. So I want to see if it can do that. I'm not currently logged in by the looks of it. So I might need to log in for this to work. So maybe I should do that quickly. Let's see what happens if I'm not logged in. Let's see if it gives me some kind of message. Okay, so that was the front page. Let's see if the front page is visible yet. This music is very jumpy. Ooh. Okay, the header's not quite fixed yet, but I like the oh, they've got it's the same color. Okay, so the header is, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It is kind of modern, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the right person to determine this. So if you're watching this now, or if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you want to comment on YouTube, I'd love to hear. I'm gonna share the preview link once it's done. Okay, let's see here. Let's preview the result. Let's allow. I'm happy to allow. Theme has been completely redesigned. Summary. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So let's have a jump around here. I mean, from my perspective, this is certainly not a horrible looking website. I don't know whether this would be considered good enough for a small coffee shop. It doesn't look bad to my mind. I've certainly built worse looking sites than this, personally. Okay, so we've done all of that. What's this doing? I don't know why that is there. What's this? Oh, it's actually opened it up in the browser. Okay. Oh, you can actually... Oh, I didn't know that. It looks like you can actually add this to the browser and you can start things. Okay, cool. All right. So that's all there. So let's give that a quick... Just here. Get add. Right. I'll come back to that. I'll fix it later. I didn't do the legacy templates. I don't think I need them anymore. I'll sort out the Git stuff later. What I want to do is, can you upload this to a preview URL? Let's see if I can handle that. Okay. Okay. All right. It's asking me to log in. So let's see if this works. If I just log in via VS Code. Okay. So this is asking me to connect the WordPress Studio thing. Perfect. Exactly what I want. And it's asking me to go back to Studio. That's fine. I'm logged in there. I'm logged in. I am logged in. Please continue. Just keep those files. So I did this in an hour now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this on my social media, and you are welcome to comment up and tell me what you think. Except Vladimir, who created this. Anybody else watching on YouTube or wherever. I'm going to share the preview on social media. And if you like it or dislike it or hate it or think it's terrible, comment on social media and tell me. Now I do know that sometimes it takes a while for these things to run. So we'll let that finish. Okay. So there we go. So there is my preview site. I can send it off to my customer and say, hey, what do you think? That's really cool. I like it. Okay, so now we're going to do the social media push. So I'm going to just open up a separate tab and move it off screen. Open up my social media posting app. Say I created this preview site on WordPress.com with WordPress Studio and in under an hour without writing any code. Full block theme implementation. Okay, so I'm going to post that to my social medias. So let's publish that. So I'm going to share the Twitter URL, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Blue Sky, and I'm on Mastodon as well. So let me see if I can copy them all. So there's the Twitter URL if you're on Twitter. Let me bring this window over here. There's LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn. So choose your favorite social media platform and tell me what you think. Copy the Blue Sky link. I would love to hear what you think of the design. Mastodon as well. And if you think it's terrible, tell me. I don't mind. And if you think it's great, tell me. I don't mind either. I think it's really cool what I was able to achieve in under an hour. I don't think I actually said in under an hour, which I'm kind of annoyed by now. Oh, I did say it under an hour. So hit me up on social media. Tell me what you think. I think it's pretty cool what can be done. It does mean that the way we do things is changing. Whether you're on board with this AI stuff, I'm not here to argue with you about that. I'm kind of pro it, but as long as there is a human element involved, and I've said this publicly. But this is really, really cool. So Vladimir, well done. I like it. Good job. I look forward to seeing the updates coming to Studio CLI with MCP. But this is really, really cool. And I don't know if anybody's commented yet. Ah, AJ's really liked the post. Thanks, AJ. Awesome. So if you want to play with this stuff, go check it out. GitHub, Nightnay, WordPress Studio MCP server. You need Studio installed. No problem, man. It was really fun to play with. It was really fun to play with something that a colleague had developed. I'm a big fan of Studio on macOS specifically because it just works and it just runs really quickly. I love what the Playground people are doing. I love what the Studio people are doing. So I love the fact that now there's AI stuff happening. So well done, everybody. Good job. Seriously. Cool. So that's it for me for today. I'm going to try and do the WP pinch thing next week if I can. I'm going to try and get my OpenClaw bot set up somewhere and working this week during the course of next week. And then hopefully I'll be able to do some WP pinch next week, unless something else happens in the week, something else is launched that I just think is cooler. But that's it for me for this week, folks. Have a great rest of your Friday and rest of your weekend. And I'll see you all again next week at the same time. Bye.